If you like what I do, consider joining my channel or donating to my coffee. Links in the description. Grab your guns, order you some overprocessed fast food, and light off some fireworks. The United States of America turns 250 today. I know that's pretty young to an overwhelming majority of you other countries out there, but I'm just impressed we made it this far. But not as impressed to find out some of you made it this far, considering our #1 export is ass whooping. In all seriousness, I'm loving all the stories I'm hearing about Europeans coming over here for the World Cup and absolutely falling in love with America. Are you surprised the Scots drank all the beer in Boston? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, let's get this video moving. In honor of our semi-quincentennial, hey, I'm the Metroidvania Guru, and this is my top 10 Metroidvanias made in the US of A.
Number 10.
Way Forward, the long-running US studio out of California, has made a ton of great games over the years, but Shantae and the Pirate's Curse is still one of their crown jewels. It's the moment the series fully embraced Metroidvania structure, tightened its level design, and delivered a game that's as charming as it is mechanically sharp. What makes Pirate's Curse so special is how confidently it pivots away from Shantae's traditional transformation-based gameplay and leans into a more streamlined toolkit built around risky boots, pirate gear. Instead of wasting time dancing to turn into a monkey, you're using the scimitar dash, pistol, cannon, boots, and hat to chain movement together in ways that feel fast, fluid, and incredibly fun. Each island you visit is a self-contained level. Not the usual Metroidvania structure, but it still works. And every new piece of pirate gear recontextualizes earlier areas, letting you blaze through spaces that once felt slow or dangerous. The writing's hilarious, the characters are expressive, and the game's pacing is some of the tightest in the entire franchise. Narratively, Pirate's Curse goes harder than you'd expect. Multiple endings, a darker tone, and intriguing subplots like the possibility of meeting Shantae's father or uncovering Roddy Tops' former self. But all that was dropped with Half Genie Heroes' soft reboot. Awesome. Shantae's charm is undeniable, and Pirate's Curse shines because of its perfect blend of personality, exploration, and snappy platforming. It's a Metroidvania that respects your time, creates a world that's fun to be in, and delivers some of the most memorable moments in the series. If you've never played Pirate's Curse, I'd actually recommend starting with Risky's Revenge. That game's ending ties directly into Pirate's Curse, and understanding Shantae's sacrifice and revenge adds emotional weight to Curse's story. Pirate's Curse is a joy from beginning to end, and a must-have for any Metroidvania fan's collection.
Number 9.
As you look at Metroid Prime on the screen, you're probably thinking, Metroid Prime is a Japanese property, Guru. I don't know why I gave you that voice, I'm sorry. Yes, Metroid is a Japanese IP, specifically Nintendo, but the devs behind one of your favorite Metroids, Retro Studios, are a bunch of good old boys and gals from Austin, Texas. Now, the next thing you're thinking is probably, why is it so low? Is this dude a contrarian or edgelord? The simplest answer to that is, I don't like first-person shooters. But I do like Metroid Prime despite that. I like its world, its controls, its combat, its exploration, its music. That Metroid Prime theme is one of my favorite tracks of all time. But what made Metroid Prime so electrifying was how effortlessly it translated the Super Metroid formula into full 3D without losing an ounce of atmosphere or exploration. Retro Studios didn't just make a first-person shooter, they built a first-person adventure where scanning, platforming, and environmental puzzles mattered just as much as combat. The visor system made the world feel tactile and alive, the Morph Ball puzzles were pure Nintendo magic, and every upgrade meaningfully reshaped how you navigated Talon 4. It was Metroid's DNA reimagined with a sense of immersion no other game had at the time. And it all got remastered on the Switch in 2023 with improved visuals and controls, so there's really no reason you shouldn't try this masterpiece out.
Number 8.
Okay, listen. Shadow Complex comes with some well-known controversy surrounding the people and organizations connected to it. But for this list, I'm evaluating the game itself, its design, its influence, and its place in Metroidvania history. And on that level, Shadow Complex was a breakout hit that proved the Metroidvania formula still had mainstream appeal. Between Metroid Fusion in 2002 and Shadow Complex in 2009, the genre saw very few high-profile releases. So when Shadow Complex arrived as a high production value AAA adjacent Metroidvania on Xbox Live Arcade, it was a shock to the system. Critics, journalists, and developers alike credit it as a major turning point that helped push the genre back into the spotlight, and its commercial success backs that up. But setting its influence aside, it's easy to see why it resonated. Shadow Complex is simply a blast to play. What made Shadow Complex pop was how slick and modern it felt. It took the Super Metroid formula and fused it with fast shooting, smooth traversal, and that addictive one more upgrade loop Metroidvanias crave. The 2.5D aiming, where you could take out baddies in the background, gave combat a fresh twist. The gadgets kept expanding your movement in fun ways, and the map constantly teased new secrets. It was classic Metroidvania design with a glossy, action game edge. Chair, the Utah-based developer, built Shadow Complex as an action game companion to Orson Scott Card's novel Empire, using its world and organizations as the foundation, so the game has legit writing chops behind it. And with its 2015 remaster adding sharper visuals and modern polish, it's easier than ever to revisit a genuinely important piece of Metroidvania history.
Number 7.
Clockwork Ambrosia is the newest title on this list, but it's made an indelible impression on the genre in such a short period. Developed by RealmSoft, a studio in Denver, Colorado, Clockwork Ambrosia is a faithful, fast-paced homage to the 16-bit era. What makes Clockwork Ambrosia great is how it blends old-school run-and-gun action with the level of mechanical depth you almost never see in the genre. The guns feel incredible to use, but it's the wild mod system that turns every encounter into a playground of experimentation, stacking perks, conditionals, and weird synergies until you've built something completely unhinged. Pair that with armor pips, mending, and a retry system that keeps the pace snappy, and combat becomes this addictive loop of tinkering, swapping, and improvising on the fly. It's classic 16-bit action filtered through a modern design brain, and the result is a game that feels both nostalgic and fresh. If you like shooting stuff and building overpowered guns, Clockwork Ambrosia deserves a spot in your library.
Number 6.
You either know what Valdis' story is, or you don't, and to know Valdis' story is to love it. Made by Endless Fluff, a studio from New York, there's really no other game like Valdis' story. What makes it stand out is how confidently it fused Metroidvania exploration with full-on character action combat. All 4 playable heroes feel distinct, with their own magic affinities, weapon styles, and upgrade paths, turning each run into a different flavor of fast, combo-driven bliss. The game constantly rewards mastery, juggling enemies, weaving spells into melee strings, and exploiting elemental weaknesses feels incredible once it clicks. And beneath all that, the world is dense with secrets, optional bosses, and lore breadcrumbs that make every detour feel worthwhile. It's a Metroidvania with the heart of an action RPG, and that mix is exactly what gives it its punch. Its cliffhanger endings have been torturous for those who got invested in the story, and if you want to join in on that torture, Valdis' story is ready for you. And a follow-up taking place in the game's universe is in the works, so maybe there's an end to the agony coming real soon.
Number 5.
Dust, an Elysian tale developed largely by the solo developer Dean Dodrill, a Washington-based creator, is an excellent time capsule of the late 2000s, early 2010s indie boom. It was pushed heavily by Xbox for its Xbox Live Arcade service, and it's packed with cameos from indie darlings of the era. Tim from Braid, Gomez from Fez, Super Meat Boy, some even with dedicated areas and levels specifically designed to hit that nostalgic nerve. What made Dust so special was its hand-drawn artistry and fast, expressive combat. Dodrill built the whole thing with an animator's eye, and it shows. Every slash, dodge, and aerial combo flows with buttery smoothness that makes even basic encounters look and feel stylish. The Dust Storm mechanic turns crowd control into a spectacle, fidgets projectiles at a layer of elemental strategy, and the RPG light progression gives you that satisfying sense of growing stronger as you craft new gear and level up. It's a Metroidvania wrapped in a painterly action RPG shell, and that hybrid identity is exactly what gives it its charm and staying power. Dust is as vital to the indie boom that solidified the scene as it is to crafting the modern Metroidvania landscape, and it absolutely deserves a spot in your library.
Number 4.
Animal Well hardly needs an introduction. It got a ton of attention at pre- and post-launch thanks to Donkey's involvement. Maybe you've heard of him. He's a massive YouTuber, and he released the game under his Big Mode publishing label. But even without that spotlight, I think Animal Well, developed solely by Billy Basso out of Chicago, would have found an audience simply because it's that good. If you know anything about Animal Well beyond Donkey, it's the game's reputation for esoteric mechanics and multi-layered puzzles. The kind of secrets that require skills most Metroidvanias don't exactly keep on their resume. But don't worry, you can still enjoy Animal Well without diving headfirst down its eccentric rabbit hole. Why? Because Animal Well captivates by committing fully to mystery, subtlety, and pure environmental discovery. There's no combat, no hand-holding, no exposition dump. Just you, a handful of strange toys, and a labyrinth that's as spooky as it is intriguing. Every room hides a trick, every creature has a behavior to decode, and every tool you find rewrites your understanding of what's possible. The joy isn't in power fantasy upgrades, but in the quiet thrill of realizing you can do something you didn't know the game allowed. It's a Metroidvania built on curiosity instead of combat, and that restraint is exactly what makes it unforgettable. Whether you're satisfied uncovering the mystery of the eggs or you want to plunge into its deeper layers, Animal Well delivers, no matter where you choose to stop in that puzzle journey.
Number 3.
Thomas Happ, a solo dev based either in California or Nevada, I couldn't easily figure it out and I'm not about to stalk the man, is the genius behind the Axiom Verge games. And while the original Axiom Verge is fantastic and undeniably important to the Metroidvania pantheon, I've got to give this slot to its sequel. I know that's controversial as most people prefer the original, but there's so much to love about Axiom Verge 2. What makes the sequel so compelling is how boldly it pivots away from the first game's combat-heavy design and leans into exploration, hacking, and atmospheric mystery. Instead of overpowering enemies with an arsenal of guns, you're decoding systems, manipulating machines, and slipping between realities to uncover secrets the world doesn't want you to see. The drone traversal and breach hopping mechanics constantly reframe how you move through spaces, and the game rewards curiosity far more than aggression. It's a Metroidvania that trades firepower for finesse, doubling down on world building, discovery, and strange, reality-bending tools. A quieter, more cerebral evolution of the formula that I think was a great direction for the series. If you skipped Axiom Verge 2 because of its drastic departure from its predecessor, I strongly recommend giving it a shot. Plenty of non-combat Metroidvanias have found huge success, and there's no reason Axiom Verge 2 shouldn't be counted among them.
Number 2.
It's been heavily documented that Kyle Thompson and I are basically best bros. I'm constantly DMing him on X, messaging him on Instagram, and staring longingly at his Reddit profile picture. The way he leaves me on red and ignores my friend request on Discord is just classic Kyle. But don't think I put Islets on this list just because I'm besties with this Oregon-based developer. Islets is legitimately one of my favorite Metroidvanias. What makes Islets so delightful is Kyle Thompson's signature charm and the way you literally stitch the world back together as you play. Every island you reconnect shapes the map in surprising ways, opening new paths and recontextualizing old ones. Combat is snappy, the bullet hell boss patterns are a joy to learn, and the writing is hilarious in that warm, understated Kyle Thompson way. It's a Metroidvania that feels cozy, clever, and full of heart. A small adventure that leaves a surprisingly big impression. Also, I love Snoot. That dude rocks. All Islets characters rock, so you should play Islets and fall in love with them the same way I did.
Number 1.
Ghost Song, developed by Matt White here in the US of A, is one of those games that grabs you from the very first moment. You wake up alone on the surface of Lorien, surrounded by strange ruins, half-buried machines, and a world that feels ancient and wounded. The hand-drawn art gives everything this eerie, organic texture, and the opening minutes set a tone that's equal parts sci-fi mystery and genuinely creepy. What makes Ghost Song so haunting is how completely it immerses you in loneliness, mystery, and quiet emotional weight. Lorien feels abandoned yet alive, with every echo, hum, and distant creature call pulling you deeper into its melancholic atmosphere. Combat has its own clever twist. Firing overheats your arm cannon, which in turn powers up your melee strikes, creating this tense push and pull flow that keeps encounters engaging. And as you explore, the world slowly reveals its history through scraps of lore, strange encounters, and characters who feel fragile and human in their own ways. And the voice acting really sells the game's exceptional writing, giving character moments even more weight. And the way the world recontextualizes by mixing things up with bounty hunters and random NPC encounters truly makes this dead moon feel alive. It's a Metroidvania built on mood, introspection, and eerie beauty, and that's exactly what gives it its staying power. Blue's Journey is something truly special, one you absolutely shouldn't miss. If you enjoyed this country-specific list of Metroidvanias, check out my last showcase where the spotlight was on Brazil. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one, and drop a comment telling me which country I should focus on next. And give me your hype points. Until next time, later nerds.